Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video will be me showing you my entire coin collection. So every coin in my collection I will show you now. On screen is a contents page of what order I will be showing things in. So for instance, if you're someone that absolutely hates modern coins, then you might want to skip part of it, go straight to my pre-decimal date runs and silver coins and so on. And if you're someone that is vice versa and hates the old coins but wants to see all my BUNC packs, then you can tune into the specific timestamp you see on screen to find your favorite part of the collection, or stay tuned as we'll begin with it right now and get into every coin in my collection. Right then, so we'll start off, like I say, with some just sort of random miscellaneous coins. We have here the Agatha Christie 100 Years of Mystery £2 coin in a change checker packaging. Here we have some small silver coins. There's a Maundy penny in there from Queen Victoria 1889, and if I just sort of shake them around a bit we can separate them, and there we go. The other one is a 1.5 penny, so 3 halfpenny coin as they were known. That is from William IV. We have a double florin in here, 1889 Queen Victoria Jubilee head, quite a nice coin, although fairly worn. We have this one. This is quite a nice Maundy coin. In fact, I'll just zoom in a second. There we go. As we can see, a lovely 1835 Maundy penny, and that is of course William IV for that one. We then have, as we can see here, just a small hammered fragment, and here we have 200 Years of the National Gallery £2 coin. So there we go, that's the first part of the collection. Next up we have a few random coins in slabs. So here we have a 1 penny, a silver penny from 1996, silver proof penny, pretty cool. This is a Festival of Britain crown, just quite a standard coin, but quite nice. This one's rather nice. This is a 1758 shilling, as you can see there. Very lovely reverse, and there we have King George II in quite high grade for a coin of that age. And then here we have our first bit of gold for the video. There is Queen Victoria Jubilee head, and this is the 1887, so Jubilee year half sovereign, with a lovely cracking reverse design there of the shield and Queen Victoria to the obverse. Next up I'll show you this, so we'll just zoom out. Here is just some 1 ounces and some Britannias. Now technically these are bullion, and this is a no bullion video because it is a collection, not bullion, but this is a bit of a date run, and actually I'll just bring them up to you here. You can see some of the older designs, 99, 2000, a privy mark to that one. You have some of the more recent years, the coronation portrait to that 2023, 2011 there, the coronation cipher and the royal arms there. So a bit more of a collectible side of the bullion coins. Next up, we'll bring in another random thing. This is not, it's not random, it's just not in any particular order to the start. Here we have my alphabet 10p's. I have every single alphabet 10p except letter J, as you can see there, and letter R. So I have 24 of the 26, all of them, or most of them, in BUNC quality. Lovely, lovely collection. And I wish they would do more 10p's to find in your change, because that was really fun. I didn't find many of them on my change, but it's still quite fun to be able to find them. This is a 1970 proof set, so I'll just give you a quick look here. The coins we know so well, us pre-decimal collectors, all these designs we know very well, but this time in proof from 1970, as that was their final year of minting before 1971. We had coins like this. We can see here some of the early decimal coins there, and some of the older ones here, so sort of a farewell transitional set there. We then have this. This is the Silver Jubilee set. So we've got a Silver Jubilee crown, and the coins of that year, and there's the famous reverse of that crown. This is a box of mainly very worn copper coins, so I'll show you one quickly here. We won't see them all. I'll show you the best ones from the box. Beginning off though, we have here a Charles II copper coin. This is a 1674 farthing. It's a very old coin, very worn, and therefore is in my box of worn coins. That one's terribly worn, but is again Charles II, as we can see there. Here is a beauty, 1694, so, a nice date, a nice old coin, and in good quality. But the special thing with this coin, flip it over, who's that? That is William and Mary. So a double portrait. We can see there 2 monarchs who are on the throne and therefore on the coins. This is my only double portrait, double monarch William and Mary coin, so one of my favourites. We have next up here a sort of quite a battered, but it is 1719 farthing, so that is George I. Here is a rather lovely half farthing from 1844, cracking condition, lovely portrait, and quite a cool denomination to think of, how small this coin not just is in size, but is in purchasing power, a half of a quarter of a penny. And then to finish off this box here, there is just a random 3p, quite a nice one, 1856, although it has been holed. Next up, I'll show you some of the £20 coins I have. Here is the Platinum Wedding Anniversary, of the late Queen and Prince Philip, and it has a lovely design here to the obverse, a horseback portrait, a joint horseback portrait no less. Here is the Sir Winston Churchill £20 coin with its famous portrait and the Queen there to the other side. We are quite zoomed in, but that does let us see the detail quite nicely. Here is the 2013 £20 coin with the George and the Dragon design on the reverse. And then here we have my personal favourite. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful design. Really, really good in my opinion. That is the First World War centenary. So a beautiful £20 coin there. Here we have Britain's first decimal coins, the little wallet. One of these was given out to everyone in the country for decimalisation, so they're quite common, but quite cool to have. This is a £5 coin for the London Olympics. I do very much like that design, looking over the Thames at the London skyline there. Very nice. Aha, here are my strike your owns. So I struck this one, and this one, the Platinum Jubilee and the T-Rex. We have one that I struck with Queen Elizabeth II, and one with King Charles III, so quite cool for me personally to have struck a coin from each of those monarchs that I've lived in their lifetimes of. So we have here a sixpence of 2024. I only have two. This is the 2024 Christmas sixpence, of course, King Charles III, and then the first year I started buying them, or getting them for Christmas, is 2023, coronation year, so again, King Charles III. Very cool coins though, I plan to buy this year's as well. Next up, we'll go to my albums of coins now, so stay tuned, let's move over to the albums. As we can see, we have the old style 50p's, the three commemoratives, D-Day and then EU presidency there being the rare one. Again, similarly, we have the old style £2 coins, the old single metal £2 coins, again, a full set of all of these coins for the old style commemoratives. Turning over the page onto the round pound coins. So I have every design, but not every date. So we'll see some holes in the collection, but I do have one of every design for the old style round pound coins. I'll just give you sort of an overview here, so you can have a little glimpse at my collection and see what coins I still have. So you can see I have two of that design, but usually most of them I have only one of each design and still need to get the dates. There we go, we can see some gaps there once you get it on a background. But there we go, quite a nice collection. I mean, I do like the pound coins, the city set here, you know, quite a popular one. We've got some of the more modern ones going into the later years of it, of the pound coin in this form. And the last one there, 2016, the last round pound. So there we go, quite a cool set. At the back of this album, I do have some error coins. We can see a weekly struck date 5p. We'll see that in a minute. I'll flip it over. Rotation error 10p and a double struck obverse. So moving over to the obverse of these coins, we can kind of see if I sort things out a bit with the camera. If we just zoom in, there we go. We can see a weekly struck date on the 5p. Not, you know, massive error. This one's quite cool because that is definitely, you know, off, the angle's twisted. So it is a rotation error. And this one here, quite hard to film, but we can kind of see if I get the lighting on it. Definitely a double striking effect on that 10p. So onwards to my definitive decimal coinage album. Bit of a mouthful there. Half pennies first. So we can see 1971 to 1983. That was when they were minted. Next up, pennies. So 1971 to date for the 1 penny. And I'll show you those now. So if we flick over, we can see 71 there. And then the 1972 here next to it is the one that's quite rare. Didn't go into circulation that year. All the other years did. And there we go. Just a bit of an overview. All the other years, 1991, 2009 is that page. Carrying on, I have them all, as we can see, all the way down to 2022. Well, and further. But 2022 is the last one of the Queen. So if I quickly show you this, I do have the Memorial Privy. I'll just quickly show you what I mean by that. If I grab this, we'll just zoom in with the camera a moment here. And if we get it in focus, there we go. You can see 26 over 22. So the Queen's life dates in a little privy mark, which is different to that one there, the sort of the normal one. And then we have the new King Charles ones, the Dormouse up to 2025 this year. So the date run then got up to 2 pence, as we can see. So 71, 72, 73, 74, and so on. Once again, all the different dates of the 2p. And then carrying on, and you know, I am rushing. It's not rushing, but I'm flicking through these because we've got a lot to get through today. Missing 2018 there, by the way. But we've got a lot to get through today, and so that is the reason I'm going quite fast through all these coins. You'll have noted the length of the video, so we need to move quite fast. Right, 5 pences. Let's go. So we have 1968 there, first date. Got some others, missing some gaps, as you can see through the page. Now, of course, those are the larger ones. These did shrink down in 1990, so we've got both versions there. Then all the other versions, missing a few, right up until once again, I'm missing 2018 as well. The Memorial Privy for the Queen, that means, and then flicking over to the page, we can see the new King Charles Oakley 5p designs. Very cool. On to 10p, so we can see there, again, they used to be larger. They began in 1968, so similar to the 5s. There we have them, missing a few more gaps than the 5p's for these ones. There are less circulating years of the old style though. Again, they shrunk down as you just saw there. And then here we have my King Charles III 10p's. I have got a video on the channel going over this album in more detail and can do more videos if you wish. Got a full page of 20p's there. Another full page missing 2018 once again. And then here we have the most recent Queen Elizabeth ones and the new King Charles ones. But like I say, if you do like this kind of thing, let me know and I can film more professionally over this album. 50p's now, a collector's favourite. Most collector's favourite. Not mine, personally, I must say. Missing a few gaps there, though. We've got a full... Oh, no, sorry, not a full page at all. Missing more gaps here. It is always deceiving. You can see through the pages, but, you know, I'm doing quite well still. This page is a bit more sparse. A lot of NIFCs up there. And then here we have what people like to see, the Salmon. 2023 Salmon. That is a good one. Found that in my change. And then there's the other years. We don't know if they're circulating yet, though. We'll have to see. We have pound coins, so the dodecagonal pound coins. We have the B's there as well. So they're the new King Charles ones. Then on finally to £2. And then we have all the technologies designs here. I have the full set of technologies every single year up to 2015 when they changed to Britannias. Then looking over to the other Britannias, I have missing 4 to the centre, but I've got the other 4 there. And here we have the new King Charles ones. Right, that was a bit of a fly through there. Hopefully you did get a sort of a good picture, a good idea of those. I will now move on to my album of hammered coins. Again, it will have to be a bit of an overview, but I'll show you what we've got and then we'll look at the coins on the other side. Here's my oldest, by the way, Athelred II, a penny of 978 to 1016. That is a lovely coin. What we'll do now is we'll have a look. You can read and see what I've got. Then we'll flick the page over and you can see the actual coins. But as you can see, the main point here is a lot of monarchs. We've got Henry VIII here. If I actually zoom in, we can see quite nicely his portrait. There we go. One of my favourites, a good Henry VIII there. But my aim is to get a coin from every monarch's reign. So as I hope you will agree, there is a good variety of different monarchs in this collection. And we can just sort of see here. I'll be, a bit of an overview. It's quite hard to film hammered coins in the plastic without getting every single one out, but we don't have time for that in this video. But once again, I already have a full video on the channel of my hammered coin collection in more detail, if hammered coins are something that you are specifically interested in. Lovely portrait there on Athelred II, I must say. And all of them are in quite good condition. There's a few ones that are, a bit clipped, but underlying condition-wise, they are all very, very nice. And some wonderful portraits, and a lot of long cross, of course, for the designs. But that is great stuff, in my opinion. Here's my final ones. A lovely shilling there of James. In fact, the portrait looking over here, that portrait of James I on this shilling is very, very nice. As we can see, a beautiful coin indeed. But there we go. There is an overview of my hammered coins. Now on to the next part of the collection. Next up is this. This is a wooden collector's box, and in it, I am collecting Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee year set. So all the coins from 1887. I've got the half sovereign separately, as I showed you. Here are the other ones, though. We'll zoom in and have a look. We've got an absolutely lovely farthing there of 1887. Really, solid quality coin there. Penny, not as good at all. This 3p is wonderful, wonderful though. It's, really, really strongly struck, lovely condition. We have the shilling there in very nice quality once again. This is a beauty. Look at that. 1887 florin in glorious uncirculated condition. There we have the half crown from that year. The double florin. Again, a lovely coin. And that is quite a cool one in terms of condition and rarity. And then here is the crown, the largest of the coins for this set, which I think is coming together very nicely. I'm sure you will agree. And with the half sovereign added in, it will make it look quite nice. Okay, brace yourselves now. We're going to go through the BUNC packs, and there's a lot. So if you fast forward to old coins, I don't blame you. I love BUNC packs though. Look at that. HMS Belfast, lovely coin. We have got Edward Jenner, lovely coin. This is the Sir Alexander Graham. No, not Sir. I think it's just Alexander Graham Bell. I don't know about that. Apologies. But we have the Mayflower here. That is one of my favourites. That is lovely. These are £2 coins, obviously, by the way. We have Victory in Europe, V-Day from 2020. Vulcan Bomber, one of my personal favourites again. An absolutely beautiful £2 coin. in lovely BUNC condition. We have the World War I Royal Air Force coin there, 1914 to 1918. And then we have Jane Austen, again a very popular and beloved £2 coin. On to some £5 coins, and I do love myself a £5 coin. Here is the Royal Mint Tower of London coin, and here is the Tower of London White Tower coin, both part of a set, as you can see kind of just here. There were 4 in the set. I've got 2 so far. There was also 4 more released the year after, or the year before. So I don't know, lots of coins to collect though. So I haven't got many. I think I've got about half of the £5 coins. There was a David Bowie, but I do plan to get, just organising them here, sorry. I do plan to get every £5 coin, but that's just, you know, I think the collecting is the fun. There's Queen, and here is the, there's a bit of colour on that one, by the way. Red cross there. But like I'm saying, the fun is collecting, not having. So here we have Harry and Meghan, their wedding anniversary. So I just do like to buy every now and then a £5 coin and add it to the collection, sort of to build a lovely group of these coins. There's the 4 generations of royalty. Here is the House of Windsor. I must say I do prefer the older BUNC packs. They're all, the whole coin is the design. There is that same coin you saw in the £20 coin as a £5 coin. We will see later the modern BUNC packs are a bit more uniform, a bit more homogenized, and they're just not quite as good in my opinion. Sapphire Jubilee there, again, one of my favourites, a beautiful coin here. This here is the 90th birthday of Her Majesty the Queen. Again, a lovely design. I do like flowers on coins, to be fair. The sort of roses and royal flowers in sort of patterns are really always quite nice. Here is the Battle of Waterloo. Again, a lovely design, a scene there, sort of as if you were at the battle. This is the longest reigning monarch £5. Quite simple, but quite effective, I believe. We then have, this is the birth of Prince George. So, you know, quite nice, quite heraldic. We do like that. Next up is this. This is the Queen's coronation 60th anniversary. We have a lovely depiction of the state crown there. That is beautiful. And here is the Diamond Jubilee. Oh, yeah, sorry, Diamond Jubilee. £5 coin. Very, very nice. I'm just now reaching over, excuse me. Right, just edited there. So here we have the Bond collection. There is the 6 Decades of Bond Completer coin. This is a big set released over the last, you know, quite recently. There's Bond of the 2010s, Bond of the 2000s, Bond of the 1990s, Bond of the 1980s, Bond of the 1970s. Then beginning it off here, we have Bond of the 1960s. Quite a nice set, and I do have the whole set there. Speaking of quite nice, here is my favourite £5 coin. Look at that. The beauty of that, the detail, it's just exquisite. Again, flowers, like I say, in like a patterned border, and the Buckingham Palace facade, a lovely coin. Here is the coronation of King Charles III with the crowned portrait, so quite a rarity to have the crown portrait. I'm happy I bought that at the coronation. We have Myths and Legends, King Arthur, £5 there. This is the 75th birthday of His Majesty the King, Charles III. Here we have the memorial for Queen Elizabeth II to mark her passing in 2022. Here we have, this is the Queen's reign set. So here we have the bestowing of honours. Of course, the Queen gives out honours and medals. So that's what that one commemorates. It's a set of 3. Here we have the charity and patronage, so the Maundy service, which the monarch does. And then finally, there's the Commonwealth one, Commonwealth of Nations. And we have, of course, the monarch is the head of the Commonwealth. So that's what that one is all about. 100 years since the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. That's what that one is there. We then have the Platinum Jubilee, one of my favourites again. Not only a beautiful design on both sides with a special portrait, but also just a great occasion to see. I mean, let's be honest, this generation is the only generation, people alive today, are the only ones who will see a Platinum Jubilee in a very long time until the next one. We have Alfred the Great here, a lovely coin, using artwork of the time depicting King Alfred the Great, as we can see there. That's quite nice. We then have the 95th birthday of Her Majesty the Queen, which is a pretty cool coin from 2021, so obviously when she turned 95. We then have a Mr. Men coin. This is, I think it's just Mr. Men in general, but it does depict Mr. Happy, as we can see on the coin and on the BUNC pack. So that's very nice. What we'll do now is I'll just, oh, actually, there's a few more over, sorry. Found a few more, pile of more BUNC packs. I do have quite a few, as we've seen. This is the Tudor Beast set. This is a 2025 coin there, the Queen's Panther. So these are all in order, dating back. Tudor Dragon there, Seymour Unicorn. They have just released a new one as well, so I'll be adding that to the collection to complete the set in the long run, as they're still being released. Bull of Clarence there, Yale of Beaufort, They also do release these in like silver proof and gold proof and bullion and stuff. 2023 with the Queen there, by the way. Just thought I'd show you that. Not many coins with that date and that monarch. We have then number 2 is the Lion of England. They are quite nice designs. I do prefer the Queen's beasts, must be said. Number 1 there, the Seymour Panther. Right, that's all the modern ones, I believe. I'm just going to do, as we can see, a time lapse here, as we have a quick overview of some of the older designs, as these bunk packs do need to be taken in and out, so it's just a bit of a faff to do it in normal speed. We can see some of the ones going past. There's that was the Millennium, Queen's 80th birthday there. These are some of the first ones I bought, personally, and of course some of the first ones released. Queen Mother Memorial there, very nice. We then have the Golden Jubilee, so another horseback portrait of the Queen, which is kind of a standard for the Jubilees. Maybe we'll see if we ever have a King Charles Jubilee, a horseback King Charles. That'd be quite cool. Double portrait there, though, for the wedding. I think that's the diamond wedding. We saw the platinum wedding earlier. Here is the Queen Victoria anniversary coin. So 100 years since the end of the Victorian era. This here is the Queen's 80th birthday. Or no, sorry, the 70th birthday, I believe. That one was. We then have Prince Charles's 50th birthday here. So a lot of royal birthday coins for these sort of vertical bunk packs, and they are all very lovely, I do say. I think they are quite nice designs. Here is King Charles, or Prince Charles at the time, his 60th birthday. Then we have an Elizabeth I coming up just here. So this is her 450 years since coming to the throne. As you can see there, a coin with the 2 Queen Elizabeths on each side, so pretty cool. Back into normal speed now, just to show you these ones, they're quite nice. Here's the Queen's Beast set, or at least the ones I have of them. So I have the the completer coin there. I have the White Lion of Mortimer, which is number 7 of 10. I only have 2 beasts and the completer. My other one is the Lion of England. As you can see there, a lovely, lovely design. That one being number 1 of 10. So there we go. I have a few of the Lunar Year £5. As you can see there, the 2025 Year of the Snake. And here, 2025 Year of the Dragon. And then I think this is the final one. This is the Christmas Tree 2017 £5 coin, which is pretty cool. A nice festive coin to have. So, there we go. If you're still here, or if you just skipped the video, well, we made it. I've got a lot of bunk packs. I do very much like bunk packs, and they are fun to collect. But we'll now move on, past these bunk packs, onto my favourite part of the collection, the pre-decimal date runs. So let's go now onto some pre-decimal. So here is my first tray of the farthings. Now we can see I begin this date run for the farthings at 1730, because that is the first year of the farthing under King George II. I'll quickly grab this one here, my earliest farthing, to show you. This one here is a 1734 with the Britannia there. As we can see there, George II. A bit corroded, but it's decent quality there for the first, my earliest one of 1734, almost 300 years ago. So then I'll get you a bit of a close-up now on some of the coins. So I have 1736, some of the earlier ones there into the 1750s, into George III era of farthings there. This is where the farthing changes quite a lot. Here we can see 3 types in a row here. And then 1807, we have then the 1820s here, 1821, 22, 23, a bit more standardized now under George IV, up and along to William IV, these ones are. Then we come along to the late 1830s, 1840. This is now Queen Victoria. These are still the copper versions, they're the larger copper versions, up until here, 1859 would be the last one. My last one is 1858, because then here, as we can see in 1860, we begin with the bronze farthings, which I'm happy to report I have every single one of. Now I do have a full video going into more detail about these bronze farthings, showing off every single one. 1863 here is the most valuable one in that condition. This one here worth about 50 to 60 pounds. So, you know, a very expensive coin. But I did buy that one to finish that. That was the last one I needed. And like we see, I have every single one. This tray goes up to, what is that, 1881. So from 1730 to 1881. There is the progress. And now, of course, you know, we'll come back to look at this next year. There's progress for tray 1 of the farthings. And then tray 2 of the farthings, as we can see here, like I say, is completely complete. So carrying on here from 1882, this will be all the 1880s, 1890s, into Edward VII, George V, World War I era, 1920s. We then have the Wren farthings. So if we look, where do they begin? Here it is. So this is the last of George V, the 1936, and then George VI has a new design to the reverse. And we see the Wren design lasted all the way right up until Queen Elizabeth II and the final year, which was 1956, before the farthing was demonetised in 1960. So there we go. There's my first denomination, the farthings, and the progress I've made up till now. On to the halfpennies. My halfpenny date run begins with this one here. Just turn it around a bit, and it is 1860. So for these I begin with the bronze coins, as I am going to look to finish the bronze coins first before extending it back. I do have some ready, but not in a date run of the older ones. I have the first 4 years here, but then we can see it is a bit sparse on the early Victoria ones of the bronze farthings, as these are, believe it or not, quite expensive and quite rare coins. The ones that I'm missing in a lot of cases, especially if in better condition. I do have some nice ones in there though, as we can see for the Victorias. This tray goes up to Edward VII. We can see here to the bottom, again, very worn. So I will also look to upgrade condition as well as getting new dates. But we can see there into Edward VII's reign. And my final one in this tray, just spin it round, is the one here, 1907. So that tray is 1860 to 1907. And there is the progress up till now. Doing much better though on the next tray, as we can see here, I have a full tray. So this is a full tray, the full date run of halfpennies that do tend to spin round. So I apologise for that, but I'll spin that one round. That will be of course 1908, picking up where we left off. So the final ones of Edward VII through George V, George VI, and right up to the Queen Elizabeth II ones here, right at the end, with the new design now of the Golden Hind. You can see there the Golden Hind design coming in 1937. And like I said, this tray is a full tray from 1908 all the way here up until 1955. So then moving on to the third tray, or the final tray for the halfpennies, technically. And this is obviously the pre-decimal halfpennies. I do continue the decimal date run. But here we have the final tray for these pre-decimal ones. Of course, they're beginning with 1956. So that's Queen Elizabeth II. Try and spin it around a bit. There we are. And then, of course, carrying all the way along until that final year, the infamous year for copper coinage, 1967, that final year of the copper coins, as of course they were stopped being minted this year in preparation for decimalisation. So there we go. There is the date run of halfpennies so far, and the progress I've made up till now. We then move on now to the pennies, the 1 penny pieces. So we can see here I begin the date run at 1797, that infamous cartwheel penny. Now, interestingly, I will quickly say I do have a better condition cartwheel penny than this, but these are so large they do not fit in the tray unless it is this one just about squeezes in, as it is very worn. You can see slightly bending the tray there. So this one is more of a placeholder for the date run rather than my best condition one. But we then have the later George III versions, moving into some George IV versions of the 1820s. Now the 1830s and 40s here are very sparse. In fact, we can see a whole row here that I've got none for, because these ones are actually, believe it or not, quite rare. Especially 1827, some of the William IV ones, very rare and very expensive. But this is an area I'm looking to focus on next year to get some more dates. I do have here some of the 1850s there of Victoria. Not great condition, that one even has a hole in it. But then 1858, and then the same with the other coins. 1859 is the final year before we begin the bronze coinage. Now these are all quite worn pennies, so I do have, spoiler alert, the full set of the bronze pennies. But as always, I will be looking for upgrades next year rather than new dates. At a quick overview here, we have the 1860s. There we are, 1869, a very key date. That one there, even in this condition, is worth about £25, as it is a key date for the collectors. This tray then goes up to 1874. So from 1797 to 1874, there is the first tray. So like I say, from then on out, I have the full date run of pennies. Here is a full tray going from 1875. There we have it. Bit of a damaged one there, sadly. But 1875 all the way through the 1870s, 1880s, 1890s, the slight design change there, the Edward VII ones, into George V, and this tray runs up until 1914. So a bit better condition here for the newer ones. So there we have a full tray of all the pennies from 1875 up until 1914. And then finishing off with the final tray, again completely full. So of course from 1915 this will be. There we are, 1915. All the rest of the sort of World War I dates, 1920s and 30s, into George VI, and then into Queen Elizabeth II. We have here the 1950 and 51, very rare pennies. And then, like we say, all the way up until that final year, once again, the classic 1967 penny, to finish off the date run of these old pre-decimal pennies. So, like I say, I'll be looking for upgrades for sort of this era, and then anything before. So I've got the full set of the bronze ones, so I'll be looking to fill in more gaps from the copper pennies before 1860 in 2025. Now then, on to the 3 pences. I mean, I think first impressions, look at that. That's a very good attempt, or very good effort indeed. I've done very well if I do say so myself. Now, I have begun the 3 pence date run at 1860, which is not the first year, but that was just merely sort of a leftover from the fact that I started all my date runs at 1860 in accordance with the pennies, but I have since extended most of them that do go further back. But for now, my sort of plan is just to finish this tray, and then I can extend it further back. So I've got basically everything, apart from a few of the 1860s there, the few more there, and then 1882 and 1888. After 1888, I've got all of these ones through the rest of Victoria, Edward, and so on. We'll just do a little close-up on these coins. They all have the same design, and it is a lovely design. Here's one from 1911. Just a nice simple crown 3 with the wreath around it, and whatever the monarch is, of course, to the obverse. So a lovely little coin, nice bit of sterling silver, and then the design does change here. Where are we? There we are. To the acorns and oak leaves, then changes again to the shield within the rose. So this date run tray goes from 1860 all the way along. The final one in this tray, annoyingly, is 1941, so I do not quite have the full set in one tray, and therefore we now have to look and to move to the sort of 3 pence overflow tray, which has got a bit of everything in it. So here it is. So we can see the final 3 dates there of the silver 3 pence, going up to 1944. So I have the full set of silver 3 pences back to 1888, and then a few gaps to get back to 1860. There's also, though, the brass 3 pence, which I have a full set of. So the first sort of style of coin I just genuinely have everything for. So I have 37, 38, 39, 40, all the 1940s, including 1946, very rare coin indeed, and 1949, again, very rare coin indeed. But I have those two, and then we have the design change here for Queen Elizabeth II, and again I have all the Queen Elizabeth II brass 3 pences right up until, well, the last circulating year is 1967. I also have one of these ones from the proof set of the Farewell. This is not a circulation coin, but I have it just loose here, so I thought I may as well pop it in. That is the 1970 version. Now we already nicely have the tray here ready to go for the next denomination, which is the groats. So I will zoom out a bit. The groats, pretty decent progress on, but not amazing. I've got quite a lot of dates, but none of them are in very good condition. But we can see there the groats did not run for long. From 34 from memory? 36, apologies. So from 1836 all the way to 1855, then a final one in 1888 there. So we can see there I've got a decent amount, but like I say, most of them are kind of just in scrap condition. So I haven't really been focusing on the groats, to be fair, and I don't necessarily plan to next year. These will just be sort of continuing to be an afterthought as I focus on the more popular denominations to begin with. But of course, if I see any more groats that I need for a good price, I will certainly add them in the next year. Right then, so the next denomination is the 6 pences. Now we can see here a sea of white and not many coins here, which is a bit of a shame. Now, one thing I will say is I've got a lot of nice coins in here, though. If we have a quick, look at some of these coins, that is a lovely coin going back to this 1837. They are, most of them, quite nice coins, which is always nice to have. But in terms of numbers, they aren't too many. So the date run for this begins at 1816, the first of the modern sixpences after the Great Recoinage. You have the first 3 there. We then carry on through George III. Of course, George IV, William IV, Victoria, and so on. After sort of around the 1830 mark, we have the same design lasting up until the end of this tray. And this tray goes up to 1900. Here we have it. So we can see much, or many more coins rather, and not too many bits of, this doesn't even really count because that's that from that proof set again. I've just got that in there for, you know, why not? So I've got everything basically from that final 1967, as you can see there, all the way back from the Cupro nickel ones. I've got every single 50% silver one. I have spun round again, that always annoys me, but I've got all the 50% ones, and then I've got everything back until 1917 as the only George V one, and then back here we've got some of the Edward ones to go, and a few, well, one Victoria there, and some of the Edward ones at the top. So overall, tray 2, not doing too badly on. My goal for next year is to have this tray full, do this tray, finish it off, and then work harder on tray 1 of the sixpences, as that one does need more work than this. But there we go. Overall, a lovely collection. Okay then, so here we have the shillings. Now we can see here, this is tray 1, much better than the counterpart sixpences. But you can see again, it begins at 1816, that first date from the Great Recoinage. I have this one terribly, but I've got the first 2. You can see I've got some of the earlier dates here. Some of them do have holes, some of them are quite damaged, it is true. Yeah, but I do have that does count as a date completed. And then we can see up further on to the Victoria, got quite a nice chunk there of some. Similarly, a bit of a chunk here in the bottom left. The middle here is a bit lacking, so I'll look to get some more of these dates. This tray again runs up until, oh sorry, this one runs up until 1899. Then tray 2 is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. A gorgeous selection of shillings there. So we have, continuing from the other one, 1900. And I've got basically everything through Edward, George V, George VI, sterling, 50%, Cupro nickel, right up until that 1966 is the last year of shilling minted for circulation. I do have again a loose 1970 there. Now one thing we do want to note is here, these are the only 2 missing on, oh sorry, there's also 1909. 1904 and 1909 shouldn't be too hard. 1905 though will be about £100 in this kind of condition, as it is a very key date, but that is one on my bucket list to fill in next year. So hopefully that will mean I can fill in this whole tray 2 for the shillings. If you're still watching, thank you. I know this is going to be quite a long video. We've made it now to the florins, which begin with the first florin, the godless florin here, a beauty of a coin. Look at that, lovely coin indeed. 1849 is that's the first year that we begin with. We then carry along the date run. Now there's again not too many here. Now my sort of the reason / excuse is that lots of these are very rare. Not too much rarity to the bottom here, but yeah, these ones, the 1850s and 60s, are very rare coins and will be quite expensive, even in these lower grades. But I will, of course, as well as other denominations, look to focus more on this first tray and fill in some of the gaps. And of course, some of the coins are very much so in need of upgrades as well. Very worn for that one there. But this is running from 1849 up till the final one in here, which is 1891. That is a lovely coin. Look at that, beautiful. That's the Jubilee head there. So 1849 to 1891. There's the progress for the Gothic florins. Well, the Gothic up until 1887, and then florins afterwards. On to tray 2 here. Better progress indeed. Only, you know, a few smatterings of missing dates. That starts with 1892 along 1893. So the veiled head ones. We have the lovely standing Britannia florins there of Edward VII. Got most of those actually, to be fair. 1911 is the beginning of George V. I do have most of the George V ones. Up until then, 1920, that begins the 50% ones. And then I do have from 1918 onwards, every single florin, including, that means therefore every single 50% one, all the way along on this tray up until 1932. That one actually being quite a rare, 1932 is quite a rare year. But there's my tray, 1892 to 1932. Not too bad at all. And then, like I say, I've got every single one after that. So I'll show you the final tray, tray 3, which is there. There it is. There we have every coin of the florins between 1933, we begin with here. There we are. All the way along, 50% ones, some nice, lovely, shiny condition ones, onto the Cupro nickel, onto Elizabeth II. The final circulating year, 1967. And then once again, I do have a loose proof of that 1970 that I just sort of put in here as there is space to do it, so why not? But there we go, there's the progress up till now on the florins. Right then, the moment I've been waiting for, my favourite of the date runs, the half crowns. I do love a good half crown. Here's my collection from tray 1. So again, we begin with this 1816, which is the first date of the recoinage. And then I do have some earlier ones, but only 1 or 2. So the date run begins at 1816. And look at these lovely designs. Now I'll try not to go into too much detail because this is meant to be an overview. But some of the designs on these coins are just absolutely wonderful. Brilliant stuff here for the half crowns, I must say. I do love a good Victoria young head half crown. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. This tray runs from 1816 up until 1887. And I would say I would think that is most of them, as in more than half. But there are still some, a bit of a sort of stripe there of ones I am missing. 1841, 43, these are quite rare, as are some of the earlier 1820s. So I will look to get some of the rare ones. But there also are a smattering of a bit less rare dates to get here and there as well, to fill in more gaps. Here is tray 2, amazing progress if I do say so myself. So continuing there with 1888, the rest of the Victorias, as you can see there, through to the Edwards. Now the Edwards are the ones that I'm missing here on this tray, some of them, 1903, 04, 05. 03 and 04 are quite rare, quite expensive, but shouldn't be too hard. But if you know half crowns, then you'll know that 1905, even in a worn condition, something like that one there, the 1907, 05 would be about £500. That is going to be a hard one to get, but I will hopefully get it next year or at some point to, because that is a key date I'd like to fill. Because after those 3, of course, I've then completed this tray 2 of 3 from 1888. This tray runs until 1927. And after 1905, I have every single half crown. So I've got every half crown from 1906 onwards. So there's the ones after that on this tray. And I'll show you the final tray. And then here is tray 3, a completely full tray running from 1928. So these are the 50% ones there to the top. So from 1928 all the way along through to the cupro nickel versions in 1947 onwards, into the Queen Elizabeth II versions, right up until that final year of minting for circulation, 1967. And then quite fortunately, there was one empty space on the tray, but I've actually got another one of these loose proofs, which I arguably shouldn't touch, but a loose proof there from 1970, which is technically the actual final half crown, although it wasn't minted as a circulating coin. But there we go, a lovely sight to behold. Now, if you're still here, I believe we're 20 minutes in or more now, so thank you for watching to this point. I will quickly show you before I go the full crowns, sorry. I haven't got these laid out in a date run format, so therefore there's no gaps to fill and so on. I'm merely putting them in date order and looking to get every date. So this one actually begins with 1662, beautiful Charles II, but I won't spend too long. I've got a William III there, quite worn. Then the more standard ones here beginning in 1818, that is the first year of these crowns, which I've got 1818, 1819, 1820, 1821, 1822. This one, here's a Victoria Young head of 1845, lovely coin. Then we've got 1889, and then onwards some of the George and the Dragon ones up until here 1900. Then I have got a wreath crown here of 1928, is that? I believe it is, yeah. We then got the Rocking Horse crown, the Coronation crown, the Festival of Britain, and the Queen's Coronation one. But it does carry on with the crowns of the cupro nickel ones. You all know the Churchill crown, the Charles and Diana crown, and so on. Then that's actually the last crown. Then these ones onwards are just £5 coins that I've got loose, and there's even a cartwheel 2p in here. But that's the so it's not as a date run per se, but I am looking to get all the dates, so it technically is in a way. To show my date runs just then, I actually used my date run video that I filmed a few months ago because it is not very out of date at all. In fact, since the few months that I've filmed that video, I've only got 2 new dates. So I'll show you those there. There's an 1829 shilling in lovely condition, and we have up here an 1824 shilling in lovely condition. These two are the only 2 coins I've bought so far since the end of the year when I filmed that video that you just saw. So other than those 2, what you've just seen for my date runs is completely up to date with what I have now, currently in my entire pre-decimal date run So now that we've just seen it with those two, it's up to date. Here we have some gold coins. Let's keep you interested. Try and show a bit of gold now is the next thing in the collection. So, got a few gold coins here to show. Firstly, we'll go with the Coronation 1/10 ounce coin. So, this is a lovely, lovely, lovely design. You saw the large 1 ounce silver version. I sadly haven't got the 1 ounce gold version, but this is a 10th ounce, £10, and is still just as lovely with the crowned portrait and that lovely royal cipher design. I have here, now this is a bit of a, so I have an 1893 half sovereign. Now I do have a few half sovereigns. I have the one we saw already, this one, and maybe one or two others, along with a full sovereign. That's my entire gold stack, and you've seen a few of those on the channel before. The other ones, though, are sort of hidden away a bit safe, so I won't show them for now. But, you know, just a few more half sovereigns. We all know what they look like. Here is a proof one, 1992, the first gold coin I ever bought. A lovely proof half sovereign. And then finally, I'll get it out of the capsule, is this quarter guinea. As we can see, it is a really lovely coin, one of my favourites. 1762, so, you know, almost 300-year-old piece of gold with a wonderful design. George III is an early milled gold coin. I mean, come on. Does it get better than that? That is an absolutely lovely coin and a pleasure to own. Right then, the classics now, the old 50p's, where a lot of collectors, including myself, begin. I have all the designs in my collection personally, and of course the one we want to see is not some of these older ones, but actually this one here, Kew Gardens, the Holy Grail. Technically the second rarest one. It's the rarest commemorative. Of course, that salmon we saw earlier is rarer in terms of circulation, and there they all are, up to Sherlock Holmes on this tray. And then looking to the second tray, we have here Brexit, Diversity, all the modern ones up to Coronation, and then a few there of the non-circulating versions, just in BUNC that I've got loose. Then we have the Olympics here. Lovely, lovely stuff. So I have, again, the full set of Olympic 50p's, all 29 of the ones that were released into circulation back in 2011, and that I have since collected. There we have the football, the rarest of the Olympics, the second rarest commemorative, and the third rarest in circulation. Again, a lovely coin. And that is the collection of Olympics. And then, of course, comes £2 coins. I have them all here, apart from two. So Rugby First Up is the first one released. All the different designs, the rarer ones, the more common ones, everything that they've made for circulation up until 2016, the last year they have put one in circulation. The only ones I'm missing, I have two of the Commonwealth Games, England and Scotland, but I need Northern Ireland and Wales to complete my £2 coin collection. Here we have one of my favourite coins, my Cartwheel 2p. It's a lovely coin, very large, very beautiful, and a coin that I've had for longer than most in my collection, so one I'm quite personally attached to, sort of nostalgically. Here we have, some of you might have skipped this part of the video, these are my early milled coins. So we have some of the old half pennies here, the old copper half pennies at the bottom. But what we'll do now is we'll zoom in, and we'll go quickly one by one, and we'll fly through these early milled coins, because everyone loves an early milled bit of silver. Here we have a 1787 shilling, sixpence, quite a very nice coin. Here is a 1758 sixpence, George II, also very, very nice. Moving up, we have here quite a special coin, so a 1745 shilling, but look there, Lima. This is a Lima shilling, so made from captured Spanish silver. Here is quite a not horrible, I don't know if that's the right word, but quite a nasty sixpence of George II. Here is a counterpart shilling in so much better condition. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous piece of history. Wonderful tactile piece of coinage there. Here is a little Maundy penny from 1737, George II. Quite a detailed coin for the age. We have a 1728 sixpence here. That same sort of similar design, which is absolutely lovely. 1723 shilling here. So that is the George I we're back to now. This is going backwards in time. We have 1713, so my only Queen Anne coin. Very nice, though. Everyone loves a bit of Queen Anne. We have some William sixpences, William III sixpences. Quite nasty, that one, quite a big hole in this one. But still, nice coins to own. We have a William III half crown, a big piece of silver. That is quite worn, probably been bent, it looks like, in the past. But that does add some sort of backstory to the coin, which is quite cool. We have a shilling here of William III with a decent looking portrait. This coin's quite good, although it's not the greatest condition and it is hold. We can see there by the date, who's that going to be? James II. Boom. My only James II coin. So another monarch ticked off for my goal of getting all the monarchs. And then Charles II, here we have a 4p from 1683. There we go, Charles II, very nice coin indeed. We then have this one, a 2p, bit better condition I'd say, and it is again same portrait, Charles II, very, very lovely. We have this, my final coin for this tray, 1668 shilling, a bit damaged but beautiful coin nonetheless. So there is the early milled collection so far. So there we go, there's my whole coin collection for this year. Now we here at Bits and Bobs have done this every single year, every March since 2021, so for the last 5 years, we've all shown our whole coin collections and then put out a community post for you to vote who has the best coin collection. So please find over on our community page a poll which has all of our names, so then watch all of our collection videos, have a look at the collections and vote for who you think has the best collection, and you've just seen my entry. Also, as a side note, you may have seen and you may know I do buy occasionally some 50% silver and so on and so forth, some Britannias, but this video is no bullion, so no bullion will be included. This is all just the collection, so the little bit of 50% is off to the side as it can't count for my collection, but still a very nice collection, and hopefully you vote for me. Anyway, this video has been extraordinarily long, one of our longest on the channel, so all that leaves me to do now is say thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed. This took a long time to make, and your subscription would really help. And we'll see you next time on Bits and Bobs for some more coins. Bye for now.